Okay. Hi, and welcome everybody to the Bridging Research and Practice Conference today. I'm Catherine Faith. I'm with SHARE. This session is about SHARE Collaborative Housing. And our speaker today is Maria Gonzalez. She's our SHARE Housing Program Manager, and she oversees all aspects of SHARE Collaborative Housing, including house acquisitions, resident placements, homeowner relations, and peer bridging. Just a reminder to mute yourself during the presentation. And if you could put your name, email, and organization in the chat just for attendance purposes. And just a reminder that this session's being recorded and we'll be able to share it with you later. So thank you so much.
Can you guys hear me good?
Maria, take it away.
Thank you, Catherine. Good afternoon, everyone. Like Catherine said, my name is Maria Gonzalez. I'm the Housing Program Manager for SHARE Collaborative Housing. Welcome, everyone. I'll go ahead and get started. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Give me 1 second. If I can do this without any errors. All right, can everybody see that? Great. So I'm going to be talking about SHARE Collaborative Housing, and I'll also have a space for questions, any questions and that anyone may have. So my name is Maria. So I think one of the things that I'll share is in 2021, so last year, SHARE Collaborative Housing housed 480 homeless people. So we were able to house, despite the pandemic, despite how hard it was, we were still functioning, we were still housing a lot of people. So I just wanted to share that. So one of the things that SHARE does, I feel like the faces are blocking, but I don't think they're blocking. Can everybody see the presentation?
Yes, we can see, but we can see the whole slideshow. I think if you start the presentation by selecting slideshow, it should just be the one page.
Okay. And I am so sorry. How would I do that? Oh, here, slideshow. Would I go to from beginning?
Yes, I believe that should start it for you.
All right, here we go.
Perfect.
Okay. And how do I go to the next one?
You can just hit the arrow button to go to the next. The right arrow or the down arrow.
Oh, here it is. Okay. I am so sorry, everyone. Okay, so there we go. That's better. Okay. All right. So so one of the things that I wanted to address here is that not only is it important to find housing for people, it is also very important to make sure that everyone has the support that they need. So SHARE believes that the opposite of homelessness is wholeness and connection. So self-supporting social structures. Homelessness can be one period of time in a person's life. So when we think of homelessness, people always think that there's always going to be a chronic, someone's has been chronically homeless for a long time. So there's a period of years, but it can also be that this person or a person can be homeless. It's a one-time event. Life happens and it's one period in there. It doesn't define the person, is what I'm saying. Homelessness is caused by an unhealed trauma event and lack of quality social support. Trauma can be healed by people helping people in a participant-centered model. Every homeless person has a place back in society. Homeless can be disrupted permanently by SHARE Collaborative Housing. So go to the next one. All right, so in SHARE Collaborative Housing, one of the things, and I just in general, the question is, why do people become homeless? And as you can see in the screen, without social support, people without support fall into homelessness. When people are isolated and they don't have that connection to other people, to that network of support, um, it's easy for people not to have that connection to to housing. Um, People on government, people who are in a shelter, transitional housing or permanent supportive housing, that stay here without that support, um, you know, uh, um, for the most part, usually, stay there, and that's their lifespan. They will, die from that point. Uh, a lot of the social support is due to the lack of social support is due to trauma of unemployment, illness, mental health issues in the foster care, accidents, substance abuse, death in the family, etc. So trauma plays a big part of um, it plays a big part of someone being homeless and not having that social support. Next screen. Um, when someone moves into a shared collaborative housing, not only is a person going to be in a single family home where the person is going to feel safe, also the person has the cultural recovery in the house. So there's that support that anyone has. Like in my home, I have that family support, I have that social support, that the residents are building community among themselves. Residents are attending self-help support groups. So we have peer bridgers who support residents with a plan for success, identifying their goals, um, which helps them reach whatever goal they have. If it's a job, connecting with the job where they can be self-supporting, getting off of benefits, which thrives into social support that prevents homeless in the future. So the goal is to maintain their housing, permanent housing where they've maintained, and um, this becomes their housing. How does shared collaborative housing work? Um, so currently, right now, we have a process for our referrals. Uh, if anyone knows someone that is in need of housing, basically you just tell the person who has income of at least 700 per month and needs housing that share has immediate vacancies, and they can move in on the same day. So like literally like the same day we can house people. Um, they can call the 877 share 49. They call that number. This is going to be extending. Currently, it's Monday through Friday from 1 to 6. This is going to be extending through every day, including Saturday and Sunday from 1 to 6 very soon. They just uh, uh, hand the phone to the person who needs housing so they can speak with a referral specialist. Share will connect the person who needs housing with vacancies via conference call with the homeowner. So they will at that moment connect the person with the homeowner immediately. The other option is that the person can also walk into our Share Culver City office Sunday through Friday between 1 and 8, and Saturday between 9 to 5. So it's very easy to connect someone to housing. Let's see. Here's some of the outcomes that we have. Once people move in, 43% of the people that move in have jobs. 25% make Share Collaborative Housing their permanent home. 62 move out to a non-subsidized housing, including 24% who reunite with their family. 91 try self-help support groups. 70% attend self-help support groups, which shares data shows and correlates with getting jobs at statistically significantly higher rates. 17% enroll in higher education. So that's some of our outcomes there. So rather than building walls, share open stores. Proven track record, some of our numbers here, 41% of the people 41% of people calling in within 24 hours of their first call move into Share Collaborative Housing. Housing for acute population. Share Collaborative Housing works for people with severe mental illness, resident to traditional housing. 26% of residents with SMI get jobs within a year. People get stabilized and move on to greater autonomy quickly. Each bed houses 1.6 people per year. 25% of people referred move in. So 2,000 referrals, over 500 move-ins. 52% of residents are African American. Oh, I moved this, sorry. I cannot see the bottom of it. I'm so sorry. And then research and data analysts constantly apply to improve and implement. That was pretty fast. Any questions? I know I went through it very fast. I'm not really good with PowerPoint, so I probably am better in answering any questions that you may have. Yes, Laura? Also check the chat just in case there's questions there.
I have a question.
Yes.
To what do you attribute your success? I'm not familiar with your housing program, and I do know that you know, isolation is the bane of our existence. But what would you say makes you so successful? That's great.
Thank you, Jean. That is a very good question. I think the fact that we treat everyone as a person, we, there was a different slideshow I was going to show. It's really looking at what the need is. I think that the fact that when shared collaborative housing was created, there was a lot of thought process in removing a lot of the barriers. So I think that the fact that a lot of the barriers were removed, such as, security deposit. I mean, I think of myself right now, if I was to move, I rent, if I was to move, what would be my barriers? And I have a full-time job. Being able to get that security deposit, first and last month's rent. If I think of someone who is illegal, someone who is not document ready, doesn't have any, doesn't have an ID, has an eviction, all of those barriers that will prevent someone, SHARE has removed those. So we work with private homeowners who have made that process easy for someone to move in. I think that's one of them. The other one is that the houses are fully furnished. Again, someone who, if I think of someone who's in a tent, that person does not have forks, knife, and spoons. They don't have all the stuff. It'll be lots of money that they would need to,
Come up with,
they would need to come up with. I have my son who's currently getting his first apartment, and there's a lot of cost in it. So the fact that the homeowners are fully furnished the houses down to knife, forks, and spoons, the homeowners have a lot of pride when they open a house. It's so much love that's invested, because it's not just opening the house, but it's the passion behind it, knowing that it's this is going to be someone's home. So I think that it's all these barriers, all these things that have made it very easy. These are single family homes that are everywhere. There you have houses everywhere. This is not an apartment. So there's a lot of pride that's put in these houses, where when residents look at them, I remember when I was doing placement, I would show them pictures. If I could get a flyer out there to them and they can see the picture, it's not a shelter. These are actually nice homes. I used to always share with them, like, this is nicer than my house.
so this is in California, right?
Yes. So this is in LA County. This is currently where we have our houses. Hopefully it would be worldwide. Currently right now, we have our houses in Los Angeles County, California.
I was just going to comment too. If you go to their website, the pictures of the houses are on there.
Yes, I believe we do have some pictures there. Yeah, thank you, Laura.
Okay, I'll just jump in, because the hand raised was up at the beginning and somebody put it down, and I typed my questions then into the chat, and they haven't.
Oh, I apologize.
That's okay. Not everybody facilitates this big of groups and things. So you answered one of the questions. You're located in LA County. I provide multiple housing. I put in the chat what we provide and what we do. I was really hoping you would have said that you would have like a database of providers that you had, put into your referral network in a broader scope, so that won't allow us to do any collaboration. But everything that we do is evidence-based, trauma-informed and responsive, gender-specific. So glad to hear that you're doing it. If you expand, write down my email address, and I'd love to hear. We're developing 7 cohorts in the Southern California area. And I know housing is one of the #1 recovery capitals that people need in order to stabilize the rest of their life. So I'm going to note your information too.
Thank you. And what is your name?
Deanna Allen.
Deanna.
I
Got it.
put in there, the housing that I provide is under the nonprofit that I founded, not the nonprofit that I'm executive director of.
Got it.
It's 2 different hats. But then you had also mentioned that you do barrier removal. Do you also do other types of wraparound, not services provision, but referrals to those things, mental health stabilization, reunification?
Yeah, so we do have peer bridgers. We have peer bridgers are it's just basically a person in recovery with history, with life. I started as a peer bridger, and it's basically the experience that I was homeless myself. Just having that history, being able to be a peer. So what the peer bridger, once the resident moves in, then the peer bridger pretty much takes over from that part. The peer bridger will go out within 24 hours. The peer bridger will contact the resident, introduce themselves. Within 3 days, it will go out and then meet the person. We have a welcome packet that has all this information. Each house does have a resource book, which has a listing of everything in the community, including support groups. Right away, we identify their goals. So we use a plan for success, where the person is able to, that's a whole different, but yeah, but if they are able to identify their goals, depending on what their goals are, that's where the resources begin. We do have different type of contracts. So we want to make sure that everyone is connected to a mental health provider. That's their need, physician, dentist, if it's DPSS, whatever services they're in need of, we do have, that's where the peer bridger will support them. Also, there are residents within the house. You have senior residents that take that leadership role. So it's very similar to a support group where the residents are supporting each other with transportation, taking them to a meeting, showing them around. So it's very effective, I think, because of the peer support model that we have. The peer bridgers come in not as a caseworker, not as or a case manager. They come as kind of like a sponsor-sponsee relationship. That's kind of the way I've always saw it. It's just that they're a paid employee. So we want to make sure that the house has that that free friend 24 hours. They don't just depend on the paid employee.
That's awesome. I love that term, peer bridger. And then I put, just in case it gets lost, another partner. I first met her in San Bernardino, and now she's expanded out into the Bay Area. You might want to meet her too, as you just
Great.
Connect models that are really doing it. Thank you so
Awesome.
much. Continue the work.
Thank you. Dr. G, I think I see your hand raised.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing all that great statistics. That was wonderful. What was missing for me is some information on how many have sought therapy.
So that's a number that I don't really have, and I think mainly it's because I can say how many attend the support group. It's everyone's goals. Everyone's goals are different. So if they have a mental health provider and they're working with the case manager there, we don't really seek to see how many times they receive therapy or anything like that. If they need the referral, we'll connect them. If they need support to advocate or anything like that, we definitely stay connected with any of the agencies. I don't think I do have a number of how many therapy sessions they attend per se, but I do have the support group.
Oh, I see. So possibly, I should have restated it or stated it differently. It wasn't really interested in how many sessions or how many therapy sessions or meetings they have had, but what percentage total of your referrals have actually sought therapy or treatment. Like 20%, 50%, just like the other percentages that you have, that the not majority of them, but a large portion of them have sought support groups?
I mean, we have a specific contract. So we have a contract with the Department of Health, known as ICMS, Intentional Case Management Services. So I know that a lot of the population we do serve are mental health consumers who are correctly receiving mental health services. I don't have a percentage. I can get back to you, Dr. G, with
That
that
was just
percentage, but
curiosity. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Any other questions?
I had a quick question, and I apologize. I had sort of technical issues before, so I might have missed this slide. I'm curious how you found the homeowners. Were there like incentives for people to participate in the program?
You know what? That's a good question. It's basically the same thing that you and I would do, Ed. When we're
Okay.
looking for a house, we tend to go to Craigslist, Zillow, just anywhere. We look anywhere and everywhere. So if it's a faith-based, we, pass the word in our faith-based community. We have volunteers and outreach. I would say a lot of our referrals have come in through Craigslist. Also, it's word by mouth. So we do an outreach. We have homeowners that have opened several of their homes. So it becomes one house. They're seeing that this is something they want to continue to do. They open a second, a third house, or they refer someone. So it's a referral or through Craigslist or Zillow or, website platforms in that sense.
Okay. And does Share ensure like a sort of continuity of payment? Like for the homeowner, like if there's an empty bed, that's a bed that they're not recruiting to fill, they're waiting for, to Share compensate them for that? Or I'm just curious about this sort of payment structure.
Yeah, it is a little bit different. We're unique in that way. No, so Share does not get involved with the money. I always kind of describe it as my house. Like I pay the rent to my landlord. It's very similar where each resident pays the rent directly to the landlord. The idea is that relationship within the peer bridge and the resident is they create that and form that communication and relationship early on, that connection, so that the resident will notify the peer bridger, hey, I found something, I'm going to be moving out, in 30 days, next month. So the idea is that because we're a housing now model, we move people in right away. The moment that someone moves out, we're already going to be replacing that bed. Like there's something already in place so that the homeowner, it's a mortgage.
Yeah.
So that we have that in mind. There's also, I can add that when we're opening a house, we do have, I forget the term that we use, but it's like a cushion, kind of like a cushion that helps like the security deposit, the utility bills, that's what that's for. So there is money set aside so that homeowner has that cushion in case there's a vacancy.
Okay.
But our goal is to fill up that bed immediately.
Right. And it's smart to sort of remove yourself from the money and sort of promote independence. And thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, Jean?
Thank you. I'm not sure, again, I'm fairly new to all this. What guarantees the success? I understand that the peer bridger is a real key to the success. Perhaps this person has issues that might make it difficult for him to maintain a clean room, appropriate behavior, whatever. What do you think makes it successful? Is it the peer bridger?
Well, Jean, I say the peer bridger, but every staff member is trained. So we use what we call tools of the trade. So we do have tools that we use. So if someone doesn't clean, if someone doesn't want to clean, there's usually a reason behind that. I guess the example I would give is one thing I learned my oldest is 24, my youngest is 8. But one thing I learned that my younger ones benefit more is I stopped telling my kids what to do. So instead of me telling my kids, hey, I need you to wash the dishes, I need you to do A, B, and C, it became me, hey, I need some support. Here are the things that I have. How can you help me? So it's identifying what they can clean. Someone might, I remember there was a resident who was unable to sweep. She had this was an older woman who had difficulty moving around. The residents were, that's why each house does have a house meeting. And a house meeting is defined very different. It can be, sitting around having dinner together and just talking about issues in the house, where it became that she couldn't do certain chores, but she can do this other one. So she can sit down and wipe the counters, or she can sit down and, clean the table or wash dishes, something that someone else has difficulty doing. Like, I don't like washing dishes, but that's something I have to do. But if I had a choice, then, I can, maybe swap that with, my husband, or one of my kids would say, hey, I'll do that. So it's very similar to a family dynamic. Great question, though.
Real quick, Maria, in the chat, Irene M asked, do we have any homes in Covina?
We have scattered housing in LA County. As far as I can think right now, we don't have a specific house in Covina. We might have something very, very close to it. I mean, I think I would add there also, because we will get questions like, when is a house opening, in a specific area that the person would want. We are constantly opening houses. So one of the good things about shared collaborative housing that it's month to month. So someone that needs to get housed right now can probably move. Let's say that they want to live in Southgate, but there's an opening in Long Beach. They can live there. They can live in Long Beach. As soon as a house opens in Southgate or Herndon Park or somewhere close, then they can move, because it's month to month. They're not tied into a lease. It's it's a great thing that they can move around. So as soon as that house opens in, let's say, West Covina, the person can be put on the wait list, meet the homeowner ahead of time in the opening stages. Usually that's what we do with a new house. We'll have like a wait list. They can start viewing the house early on so that the house gets full right away. So I see the message that came in. Hope I'm not reading any before that I missed any, but Dr. G asked, how do we refer people to you? So it would be a matter of just calling that 877 share number. Let me see if I can bring it up again. Can anybody see the screen?
Yes.
I can. Oh, here it is. So yeah, so as long as they call the 877 share 49 number, that's a direct call that will go straight to the placement team. They can also walk in. We currently do take walk-ins we have an office, a client run center here in Culver City. Here's our address, 6666 Green Valley Circle, and that's in Culver City. What is shared training for peer bridging? Laura's asking. We have, oh my God, we have a lot of trainings. We have a training. Catherine, I don't know if you have that information of the next trainings we have, but we do have trainings specifically, tools of the trade. They're actually free. I don't have that information with me. I'm so sorry. But Laura, if you put in your email, we'll email you all the information for our trainings that we have.
Thank you. I was
all that.
I was right in the middle of my internship with Cher, and I did the second class online. So the third one I'm still waiting for.
Yeah.
And I tried to make arrangements so that I can do my internship down there with you guys. But because of the housing and the virus and all that,
yeah,
it sort of got put on hold. But it's making me crazy.
Yeah. So
I want to be there so bad. I want to
yeah.
help. I don't care what you want me to do. I'll do it.
Yeah. So the pandemic isn't stopping us. We're going virtual. I know that there are meetings that are virtual. I think we tried hybrid, but there are the trainings are happening virtually. So we'll definitely send you that information. It's great. Libby Hardigan was one of my first supervisor. She's a great trainer. So anyone that can benefit, I've always even asked our homeowners to attend some of these trainings. It's just so many good trainings that you can use on, you don't have to have a house open. This is, even with kids, as a mom, just life. It's just really good tools that are there and very beneficial. I think the other thing I'll add in here that I hope I did, but if I didn't, just in case, I'm kind of going back to your question, Jean, of what makes shared collaborative housing successful. I think the other thing to add is that shared collaborative housing is I always describe it as a support group within itself. So every resident there, they're autonomous. So they make their own rules, they make their own decisions. There's a basic rules: don't burn my house down, pay your rent on time. So there's these basic rules, but at the end of the day, this is their home. So I think that the resident, the house being is like a support group, and then the fact that residents are attending a support group, for example, residents that attend Codependents Anonymous, known as CODA, that is a great support group. We refer everyone, because that's where they start learning how to set boundaries with roommates in a relationship. So these are just very healthy tools, and the peer bridgers always use their life experience and depending on what their goals, they match it to that. Another support groups, I'm sure you guys are aware of them, but Recover International has great spots, and sometimes someone just needs to write those down, right? I just giving the resident those tools of what can help them at those moments, and this is not for everyone. For someone, this is a stepping stone. This is something temporary. We do have people that move out and they're great success. They move out into their own home. That was their goal. They wanted to move back with family. They move out of state. Whatever their goal is, they're taking something with them, and having that support group that will stay with them forever. I've been attending meetings since I was 20 years old, and it has benefited and changed my life completely. And I'm older now. And it's something that regardless, wherever I go, that's going to stay with me. And that's what we want to give back. It's kind of like that 12-step giving back. And so someone can keep with them. It's not just getting them housed, but giving all the social support that a person can use anywhere they go. Any other questions? Yes, Jean.
I'm sort of taking advantage of you. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
The thing is that I'm actually facing a problem in another state with a relative who's very ill and was evicted when he was very ill. And I'm working on trying to gather data that I might be able to transfer to Colorado to help me to help him. So he's living in a day hotel right now and just had major surgery. And so that's what I was kind of like, are there like coaches that help give you hints on how to go through this process of finding something that is not as wonderful as California and share?
I would, the person's, did you say it was your son?
No, it's my brother.
Oh, your brother. I would say that you'd be their number one coach. One of the things that I've learned is that if I have, if I'm able to nutrient myself with all the resources and I'm able to get as much information that I can help someone, I would just encourage you. I would encourage you. We can, I think we got everybody's email. Catherine, if we can send everyone the links to the support, to the trainings. There are trainings, Jen, that you'll learn and you can share.
I've applied to be notified of the next trainings. I I am a Recovery International leader or assistant leader
Oh,
or something. I'm trying to start that downtown share hybrid meeting. I had
great,
one person today. It was excellent.
great.
But I've got this other little thing on the, it's not the back burner, but
Yeah, yeah.
so, but I think I'm also a registered nurse, and I think that I could really, I'm very excited to try to become part of the share family. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we're excited. We're excited that you are also starting a meeting in downtown. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. It's a beautiful building. I'm sorry, but I
It
love
is.
it.
It
It's
is. I
cool.
love the stairs. The fact that it has a
Oh,
message when you come up. It's sad
yeah.
that we're closed, but it's beautiful. Yeah. All righty. If there isn't any other questions, I don't want to hold you guys hostage. I'm sure there's other meetings right now. But if you have any questions, if I'll put my email on the chat as well. If you guys have any questions that you guys you forgot to ask and you thought about it, or anything that comes up, you can always email me directly as well.
Thank you so much, Maria.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria.
Right. Catherine, do I stay on or?
Oh, if you're free to hop out if
Thank
we're all
you
done here,
very
this room will
much.
remain open.
Okay.
Oh,
All
okay,
right.
thank you.
Thank you.
I'll stay on just in case last minute questions.
I could ask lots, but yeah, I understand what you're doing. This idea of cleaning and things like that. I'd like to make a little comment about that. There are some people that there's some sort of mental block about seeing what needs to be done. You can look around a room and think it's clean, and next minute you get your real eyes on, and suddenly you. And I tend to think it's a mental illness, and I guess I was thinking about that kind of thing when it comes to group housing.
I mean, there's something interesting I experienced where I hadn't seen it until it presented itself in one of the houses. It also has to do with culture and the way I mean, I found that for myself is the way I was taught. Let's just dishes, for example, the way I wash dishes might be very different somewhat to someone else. I had a house where it was the residents were feeling that someone wasn't washing the dishes. The person washed the dishes, put them to dry, and they were done. And that wasn't done. It was that you dry them and you put them away. So I think that everyone, I mean, this is a great thing about living with other people. You get to learn. You get to learn how someone cleans different, and then you adapt, or you do something different and you adapt to that as well. So just knowing, I think it made me see things a little bit different, where I'm now able to ask first how someone washes dishes. Like that can be brought up in a house meeting, and in a house, how do you wash dishes? What is step 1 to step 10 that you're done? And then you're able to see that everyone does things different. Does washing did include wiping everything down and making sure that the sink is clean, the counter is clean? Does it mean, and for everyone's going to be different. So someone with higher expectation takes lead in the house and sets that example, and everybody starts to kind of follow that in the house. So it just really depends. Every house is so unique. There's so many things that happen that, I'm a grown-up person, I can clean up after myself, and they try it. And it turns out that that's not the case. They want to do chores. They want to rotate it. And it's it's really beautiful. We have something that's called forming, storming, norming, and performing, the 4 stages in a house. when the house first opens, it's in forming stages. They're getting to know each other. Then it becomes storming once, someone starts snoring, life starts happening, the true colors start happening, and they start to adapt. So again, the peer bridger is there to support with all of that. I had to share my experience, and my husband snores, and I was like, I'm gonna leave him. I can't stand it. I can't sleep. But just being able, like, that's where problem solving kicks in, and being able to find out, well, what can you do? Because snoring is a big issue. What can you do so that you can sleep? So is it that there's a room swap? Do you get a different roommate that that works at night? Do you wear earphones? I use headphones. I make sure I fall asleep first. So there's all these solutions in a house that we're not used to it. We're used to running away. This is not an issue. So there's a lot of life skills that are being I learned from that people are learning from constantly every day in these in shared collaborative housing and in life in general. Thank you for asking questions, Jean.
I truly believe, like, when it comes to homelessness issues and everything, that you really can't do anything without a roof over your head. And to keep a roof over your head, I think that there's a lot of, well, I think people talked about wraparound services, mental health issues, transportation issues, nutrition issues. It's the whole organism that needs support. And it's very true that people that have family support are much more successful than, like, whether it's AA support or that peer support really makes a difference, versus people that have no one or have alienated everyone.
Yeah. I mean, and with the pandemic, it's made it even harder where I know that for the short time that I was working from home, it was terrible. Like, it was hard. It's not the same. We need that connection, that human connection, not being able to have family over the way we used to. So, I mean, I think we've experienced it through the pandemic. Thank God for Zoom and the FaceTiming and all that. But it is something. My mother moved to San Bernardino County, and if she didn't have that support group, my mom is a member of support group as well. If she didn't have that, she doesn't know anyone out there. I can see her easily when she wants to isolate herself and kind of disconnect. We're over here. So there's not that much support. So just being able to call someone from a support group that I know that knows her, hey, can you check in on her? She has that, and it lifts her at least to call someone, speak with someone. She's bored. She has these health issues going on, and just knowing that there's that support around her, even though physically no one's there, she can pick up a call. It does make a big difference.
Right.
And that's very similar in the house. Having a roommate, I mean, if I think of, in my time when I used to get depressed, the first thing I want to do is I want to isolate. I don't want to be around no one. And that's the worst thing that I could do. I need to be around someone. That's when they told me my meetings. That's when you need to go to the meetings more, when you don't want to.
I was really surprised that AARP, I took a little survey. This was about 7 months ago, and I don't know why, but it said that people that were healthy socialized up to 6 hours a day. And I thought, dadgummit, I'm more normal than I thought, because I love to be around people. I love to, and it is very difficult, particularly for people who won't flex and won't adapt to Zoom and things like that. I would really encourage, and I do encourage people to try it. I mean, as long as people aren't eating too much in your face, it's a lot of fun. It can be a lot of fun. We can wear different hats, we can put up little signs, we can do things on Zoom.
Yeah.
So. but Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate all your, it is interesting about your mom moving out like that, that can be a real, challenging. It can be a time of growth, but with the, keeping those roots out there
Yes.
and then still growing where she is.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's difficult when you see she's ran her own business, so she's that person that is everywhere. She's running around, she's selling something. So she's always on the phone. She's always been this very strong, she's still very strong, but um, to have all that ripped away because now she has these health issues. She's getting older, she's losing her vision, so she needs to depend on someone. That's where I was able to see, man, it starts to hit home when you start seeing your mom, the superwoman, the one that did everything, to see her so vulnerable. um I'm not promoting it, of course I support groups have changed my life, but really seeing it like a testament, seeing that the fact that she has all her friends in her support group that live in LA County that are connecting to her and making sure she's okay, it just it makes me very happy, because it's not just a phone call for me. Like, she has other support. Has she not had that, we have very little family here. Has she not had that, I don't know what state she would be in. I don't know how, where we would be. So it's just really good to it's like that's the passion I have. It's not some false advertisement of, I don't believe this, I get paid, I have to do this. No, this is like the real deal. Like, for me, I've lived it, I see it. I have so much passion for what I do, because I get to see day to day, I get to hear the success stories, I get to support the staff in whatever's going on. I get to hear what's going on, and seeing, all the movement that's happening. It gets me really excited. It's like
Yeah, we like to say it puts us into sacred places.
Yeah.
Where these little these things happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I think I'm gonna go cook or something.
Well,
Somebody
nice
else
meeting
said
you,
they were
Jean.
gonna do that at a break. It was really good. I think I'm gonna go do something good for myself. I think I'm gonna go bake. Thank you again.
You're
We'll see you
welcome.
again, I'm sure.
Yes, for sure.